wireless topology. Here we have got a wireless router, and one part of it for LAN and the other part of it is for WAN connection. Now on the LAN side, generally the client machines connect to the wireless router. On the WAN side, it's usually connected to the internet. Now for this LAN side, we are using DHCP in order to provide the IP address for all the devices that connect to this wireless router according to the specific range that we configure, and we are using the network address 172.17.40.0/24. And for the WAN side, we can either use a modem which represents the internet service provider, and we can use a DHCP along with that for IP address that can be provided for this interface of the router, or we can use LAN, a normal network, a normal local area network, and we can configure the IP address statically by ourselves. So we are choosing the second option, which is a LAN that is connected to the internet interface of the wireless router, and we are configuring the IP address manually. And we are using the network address 172.17.10.0/24. The first thing that we need to do is to configure IP addresses for the PCs and for the router. For PCs, we click on the PC and then we go to the desktop tab, and then we go to IP configuration, and then we give the IP address, subnet mask, and then the default gateway. Similarly, it's given for the other PC also. For the router, we go to the global configuration mode and then use the command IP address in order to give the IP address. For this wireless PC, we again go to the PC and then we go to the desktop tab. We go to the IP configuration and then we say DHCP, so that the DHCP address that is given by the router will be taken as the IP address of the PC. So let's start with the WLAN configuration. So we first connect the router along with the switch. So for that, we go to connections, we take the copper straight through cable, and then we connect the internet interface of the wireless router with the switch fast Ethernet interface. And then the next thing, we go to the router to configure the wireless settings. We go to the GUI tab, then the setup tab is enabled by default, so inside that we are going to configure certain things. So we see that we have got internet setup in the beginning. Here, since we are not using DHCP, but since we are using static IP, we have chosen the option as static IP, and then we are giving the IP address, subnet mask, and the default gateway according to the network that is connected to it. And then next to this, we configure the network setup. Here it is asking for router IP, which is the LAN part of the wireless router. So we give an IP address out of this network for this interface of the wireless router. So we are choosing 172.17.40.1 for this side, and then we say that DHCP is enabled because we are using DHCP for this side, and then we also give the starting IP address for the DHCP, and then we say maximum number of PCs or devices that can connect is 50. So it automatically takes the end of the IP address range also. So after this, we give save settings, and then we go to the wireless tab. Then we go to the basic wireless settings sub tab, which is enabled by default, and then we give the network mode as wireless LAN only. If mixed is chosen, it takes BGN together, but we have chosen only the wireless LAN. Then we give the network name. Network name can be anything. It is given as the word default by default, but we are configuring it as WRS LAN. This can be any name as you wish. It is necessary. Then we give the other details are left as default, and we see that when configuring in the beginning, we can see that SSID broadcast will be enabled by default, but if it is done so, any device will be able to connect to this wireless router. But in order to provide security, we are disabling it right now, and then we give save settings. Then we go to the wireless security sub tab under wireless tab. Then here we can see that by default security mode will be disabled, but there are different security modes that are provided: WEP, WPA personal, and WPA enterprise. When compared to WEP, WPA is more secure, so we choose WPA. And here there are two options, one is personal and the other one is enterprise. Enterprise would require a dedicated server which would do the authentication of the username and the password that's provided by the devices. So since we don't have one such server, we are choosing WPA personal. which makes it simple as well as secure. So next we give the encryption mode and then the passphrase. Passphrase is the password that any device would be required to use when connecting with this wireless router. So we are using it as Cisco 123 for now. And then key renewal has a default value, we'll leave it as such. Then we go down and then we give save settings. So this is how we do the configuration for the wireless router. And then after this, a wireless PC has already been configured. Now for example, let's take a new one. Let's go to custom made devices and then let's take a wireless PC and we can name it as wireless PC 2. So or wireless PC 1. So we can see that it is not connected by default because we have disabled the SSID broadcast. So let's configure this wireless PC by clicking on it and then let's go to the desktop tab and then let's go to the PC wireless. Here we see that there is no association with the access point. We can also see it here. Now let's go to the profiles tab and create a new profile. Let's see new, it asks for a name, so let's give a name, say wireless access, and let's give OK. So a new profile will be created and we also see that there is no available wireless network over here, so let's give advanced setup to set one up. And here we see that there are two modes, infrastructure mode and ad hoc mode. Infrastructure mode is used to enable this device to connect to a router or to access point, and if we give ad hoc mode, it will enable the device to connect to another device or another client or another PC. So since we are going to connect this PC to this access point or this router, this wireless router, let's choose the infrastructure mode. And here the wireless network name is the one which we configured as SSID in this wireless router. So let's give it as WRS LAN, which we gave us the SSID in this wireless router. So let's click next. Then here we see that there are two options, DHCP and static IP addressing. Since we have chosen DHCP addressing for this, let's leave it as the same and let's go next. Then here we see that the security is disabled. Let's enable it by saying WPA to personal, which we had given already in the router. So let's say next, and then here it asks for the key. So since we have configured the password as Cisco 123, let's give Cisco 123 as the pre-shared key and let's say next. So here we can confirm, we can refer the settings that we have configured and let's confirm it by saying save. So it says that a profile has been configured successfully. Let's try to connect to the network. Now we can see that there is no connection established till now. We only created a profile. Now let's try to connect to the network. So it's loading, it's trying to connect to the network. We see that we have successfully connected to the access point. It's also seen over here. So we can see the signal strength and the link quality over here. If we need more information, we can click under this link information tab, we can click more information. So we can see the details that is related to this wireless network connection. We can see the radio band that was by default this value. Then this WRS LAN which we gave us the SSID. Then the mode is infrastructure mode in order to connect to the access point. Then we see that the security which we have chosen is being displayed, and this is the wireless router's IP address details, and we see that we are able to look at a few status details of the wireless network. So let's check whether we are able to connect from the PC to this wireless router and also from the PC to the other PCs in the other LAN. So let's go to any of the wireless PCs. For example, let's go to wireless PC first, and then let's go to the command prompt and say ping 172.17.40.1, which is the IP address of this router on this side, on the LAN side. So let's check. It was already checked before. So here we see that we are able to get the reply. So we are able to connect from this wireless PC to this wireless router. So let's also check the same from this PC which we configured right now. So again we need to click on this PC and go to the desktop tab and go to command prompt and say ping 172.17.40.1. So we should be able to connect. We are getting the reply, so we see that we are able to connect. Now let's check whether this wireless PC 1 is able to ping these two PCs. Let's say through this PC's IP address, which is 172.17.10.2. So we see that we are able to get the reply. So it's able to connect to this PC in this LAN as well. Let's also check the other PC, ping 172.17.10.3. So again we are getting the reply. So we are able to connect from wireless device to the wireless router, as well as from wireless device to wired network that is connected to this wireless router. So we have successfully configured wireless LAN. Thank you.